Pitch accent is one of the most overhyped aspects of learning Japanese, and while it is a genuine linguistic feature of the language, its importance is frequently exaggerated in the online language community. You'll often see warnings that an imperfect pitch leads to confusion or forever marks you as a foreign speaker, but I see it differently. I mean, pitch accent matters, sure, but it's not the be-all end-all that it's often made out to be, especially for beginners. Let me explain. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is pitch accent anyway? Well, essentially, it's the pattern of high and low tones within a word. In Japanese, this pattern is a key part of a word's identity and often used to distinguish meaning. So we have two words here. The first one is the word for rain, and the second one is the word for candy. Rain is pronounced as ame, and candy is pronounced as ame. So they're very similar, but the pitch is different. The first one is high to low, and the second one is low to high. Next, we have the words chopsticks, hashi, and bridge. Hashi. So again, chopsticks is high to low, and bridge is low to high. It's a fascinating part of the language, but for a beginner, it can also feel like a huge hurdle. The conversation around it can make it seem like you need to perfect the pitch of every single word right from the start, and this is where I'd like to come in and reframe things. Okay, so I think the obsession with pitch accent is way overblown. Yes, pitch accent is real. Yes, it can technically cause misunderstandings, but in actual conversation, context almost always saves you. Let's say you're at a restaurant and you ask for chopsticks, but you use the wrong pitch. No one's gonna bring you a bridge. I mean, they might, but 99.99% of the time, they're gonna know exactly what you mean. And if you're talking about the weather, but you use the wrong pitch for rain, no one's gonna assume that candy is falling from the sky. Unless, of course, you're talking about that Skittles commercial from 1996. But the point is, people aren't listening for isolated pitch errors. They're listening to you and the meaning that you're trying to convey. And the situational context almost always makes the meaning obvious. So should you even learn it? Well, of course, but let's reframe the question away from, oh my god, I have to do this perfectly, to something a little bit more practical, like how much should you focus on it and when? Okay, so for beginners, study time is a very precious resource, and I think prioritizing pitch accent too much at the beginning is not the most efficient use of your time. Think of it, you're learning the grammar, the vocabulary, and the kanji all at the same time, and now you're gonna add pitch accent on top of it? In my opinion, the foundational elements of the language offer a much higher return on investment for comprehension and communication. I'm not saying you shouldn't learn it, but your primary focus should be on learning vocabulary and kanji, understanding the grammar, and getting comfortable making basic sentences. I like to use the cake analogy. Like if learning Japanese is like baking a cake, then the pitch accent is the icing and the cherry on the top. It adds to the overall experience, like it makes the cake look better and taste better, but it's not the foundation of the cake itself. So for beginners, my advice is this: be aware that pitch accent exists. Know what it is. Listen for it in native content, and even practice in conversations if you like. But don't spend hours drilling pitch patterns if you're still grasping the foundational sentence structure. Like the primary goal at this stage is effective communication, not perfection. So as you progress and gain a firm command of the grammar, an extensive vocabulary, and the ability to express complex ideas, that is the time to give pitch accent more focused attention. And with the cognitive load of basic communication lifted, you free up more mental bandwidth to focus on nuance. This is where habits like daily shadowing and actively practicing pitch in real conversation becomes highly effective. Now, I know a big fear is fossilization, that if you learn a word wrong now, you'll never fix it later. And yeah, that is a real thing in language learning, but the simple act of being aware that pitch accent exists is a big step to preventing that from happening. And that's because you're, well, already aware of it. I mean, you know what to listen for. If you're getting tons of input through anime, music, podcasts, you're passively training your ear every single day. So essentially, your brain is subconsciously picking up the melody of the language. And later, when you have the mental bandwidth to focus on it, correcting your pronunciation is less about relearning from scratch and more about making conscious adjustments to something you already half know. Basically, the risk of fossilizing your pitch is quite low. So real quick, the last thing I want to touch on today is pitch accent charts. You'll see a lot of people add these to their Anki decks thinking it's going to help them sound more natural. But the thing is, for beginners, and even for a lot of intermediate learners, it's not a very effective strategy. Pitch accent is highly context dependent, and memorizing static patterns doesn't automatically translate to the rhythm of real flowing speech. Your brain learns intonation best through listening, imitation, and active speaking, not by staring at charts. However, for advanced learners, pitch charts can be a useful tool. They can help you compare your pronunciation and identify specific areas to improve. But remember, pitch charts are a supplement for advanced study, not a foundational shortcut. So my opinion on pitch accent is this: if you're a beginner, just be aware of it, listen for it, but don't obsess over it. If you're intermediate, start giving it more focused attention through methods like shadowing. And if you're advanced and your goal is to sound native-like, then you can start fine-tuning it. At the end of the day, Japanese is about communication, and stressing over your pitch too early is one of the fastest ways to waste your time and burn yourself out. But hey, it really does come down to you, your goals, your motivation, and what kind of Japanese you actually want to use.